Co-Creation Workshop: Health and Well-Being Through Creativity. This workshop welcomed participants from Kingston health and care service providers, potential users of these services, providers of activities linked to art in the borough, as well as a group from the Kingston University Sustainable Design Master's course. These work together on the development of new concepts and possibilities for services aimed at enhancing well-being for the elderly and those living with dementia, and facilitating community involvement from the bottom up. In order to define these new concepts and possibilities, the workshop was developed on the principle of being person-centered, of considering people in terms of their assets before their needs and problems, which may have to be solved by others, and of fostering collaboration, not only among Kingston service providers, but also with the potential users of these services. Team 3 gathered a group of 4 people who worked together in order to find possible solutions to the following question: how can we make the transition into retirement controlled and even enjoyable, keeping in mind personal interests and abilities? In the stressful later years of work, retirement can be seen as an escape into a world of opportunities. But the complexities in terms of finance, health, loss of status and purpose, and perhaps, above all, family relationships, are easy to overlook. Each participant was provided with a persona to help them be more confident and detailed in tackling the topic. Jack, aged 63, has taken early retirement with a variety of outgoing plans. But now, a year later, he finds that his wife, Elsie, formerly a teacher, prefers to enjoy the wide social circle of which she is already a part of. Jack feels disappointed that his hopes of traveling and developing his foreign languages are becoming a point of potential conflict with Elsie. Feeling confused and worried for the marriage itself, he is now rather isolated, missing the friendly advice those colleagues could have provided. And he needs to find a social life of his own. Choosing one of the 5 ways to well-being developed by the New Economics Foundation was the first step towards launching the discussion and analyzing Jack's position. The process was guided in the first place by clarifying the challenges he's likely to face, secondly, by understanding his world in terms of the people with whom he interacts and where, and finally, by analyzing the local assets that may help him to become aware of the services and activities, and so take part in activities from which he might benefit. Since his retirement, Jack has been struggling with his new stage of his life, as it is difficult for him to find a fresh role for himself. Although he knows clearly what he would like to do, it seems that he does not know where to start or which activities are available to satisfy his aspirations, and at the same time fit in with Elsie's interests. He is lacking the confidence to talk frankly with his wife about the plans he had in mind, because this might mean putting his marriage under undue strain. But at the same time, he would not want to be just part of Elsie's social groups and activities without himself being able to make new links with people who share his interests. Since Jack no longer meets people in a similar situation to himself, from whose experiences he could learn and so receive useful advice, he is in danger of becoming quite isolated. A big disadvantage of retiring and giving up his former lifestyle is that Jack's previous social circle and his colleagues from work are now very distant from his actual life. It seems that the only people with whom Jack can regularly interact, apart from Elsie herself, consist of friends she has gathered over the years. Jack's hopes of developing his language skills through outgoing activities seem now to be blocked, rather than encouraged by the unadventurous mindset of Elsie and her circle. After analysis of the community assets which might support Jack, it is clear that there are many local activities and places which may help him to develop a range of new skills, while giving him the opportunity to meet interesting people and to find a useful role in some of these. As well as the Freedom Pass, Jack can also take advantage of various cultural and entertainment concessions for places such as theaters and museums. Although suitable activities and places do exist, it can be difficult to know where to start without having the appropriate information and advice. In their response to the initial question, the team decided that in order for Jack to make advantageous use of the available local assets, it is crucial to provide a personal contact who will explain the opportunities and encourage Jack to make use of them. To achieve this aim, the team decided to recommend innovations, including the creation of Retirement Advice Center, which can be widely publicized online and via popular TV and radio channels, as well as being brought to his notice at his GP surgery and other community and public spaces, which Jack is likely to visit. This advice center will help people to plan ahead on retirement and will provide the link between individual aspirations and the multiple available local resources. By this means, Jack may enjoy a fuller social life and all-round increased well-being. In this way, Jack can widen his social group while developing new activities as part of his personal interests, and yet remain sensitive to Elsie's feelings. A long-term benefit can be a life which is not only healthier, but more active and socially connected. Once the brief was defined, the team started to prototype their idea in order to describe the problem that they were trying to solve or the change they wanted to make, define how the idea would work, including assets and resources needed to develop it, and how Jack would interact with the service, and to explain the impact of this idea in Jack's life and eventually throughout the community. After retirement, Jack finds himself disoriented because he is isolated from his former friends and their support, and he is also disappointed to discover that his aspirations often clash with the preferred lifestyle of Elsie. At this point, he particularly needs to access the relevant local opportunities, but finds the process complicated and discouraging. Jack will be advised by the Retirement Advice Center and its role through a number of different channels, which encourage him to visit the center to receive a variety of information without pressure. When Jack visits the center, he is welcomed by the retirement advisor, who makes clear all the different options available to suit his interests, aspirations, and assets. After seeing the opportunities, Jack is able to make a competent choice based on both the suitability of the offer and the relevant support he could receive from the local assets. For example, Jack might want to improve his language skills and could approach this through an online course, and possibly become a volunteer, offering his services as a guide to tourists or young foreign students. Elsie too might be pleased to join him in helping such groups, possibly using her own enjoyment of teaching. The information provided could also lead him to organizations and clubs that might appeal to other people with similar interests and so offer the chance of widening his social contacts. The result should be a better and more efficient match between local opportunities and the character and interest of Jack as an individual. Jack can still be doing activities he finds relevant, so his mind is constantly stimulated and he maintains an active and balanced attitude to life, looking on his retirement as a continuing opportunity rather than something to be endured.